Hi everybody, and welcome back to another video from Fleetwood in Focus. And last night, Monday, March the 4th, I was down at the North Houston Hotel where Fleetwood Council kindly facilitated a public meeting as regards to the change of usage to the new Boston Hotel. Now, I put a video together, guys. It's over 1 hour long, so obviously just flick backwards and forwards to the various pieces that you want to see. I've tried my utmost at short notice to get the video as clear and as loud as I can, so it's my apologies if there are parts and segments that you can't hear, but hopefully you'll get the general gist of what the meeting was all about. Now, I have to tell you guys, there was well over 200 people attended that meeting, and the passion and the concern and the love of our beautiful town of Fleetwood was there for all to see, guys. So, as I say, this is really for informational purposes only. We were forced to change the date from the Tuesday to the Monday, so I know an awful lot of people couldn't get down last night just to hear the meeting. So hopefully this is going to help yourselves. There's also a couple of little links, etc., to the website that's been set up as regards to what's going on at the moment. So as I say, have a look, shuttle through the video, stop and start it as and where you want, but hopefully it'll be of some interest and use to everybody. So here we go, guys.
There should be a copy of one on each one of your chairs. There isn't a section on it for questions, but I think, are we going to take questions section by section?
Yes, we need to. We've
got a flip.
We've got a flip chart there. I've put down ideas that people have been. I mean, every single comment that's been raised or objection that's been raised on Wire Borough on the planning portal, I download it by day. Import all the PDFs into a Word file, take out the boilerplate text, and I've got everything that's being said in one place. And then I can then use the best comments in the way that that's said to help understand what is actually going on and what the feelings are.
Brilliant.
So what I've done in the document that you've not all got on your seats, because it would have been 2,000 pages and my single-sided laser printer won't do that. I'll come on to that anyway, but I've not covered everything. We will need questions. We've got flip chart over there, which doesn't have to be there. We'll put it where the best place is, and I'll need somebody who can actually write in big writing with a bold pen
Lauren will do it.
On the points that we've not already got. Thank you.
Lauren will do that. Yeah, brilliant. Right, so the first section is about meeting the objectives, and Charles is going to speak about that.
Can I say first, the piece of paper that was on your chairs or on the table at the back of the room, that was the basic topics that I thought we should be going through that provide some structure for a discussion. The actual meat of the discussions, to try and not have a blank piece of paper, is in another document which is about 12 pages. There is a website address on this piece of paper, www.wrongplace.co.uk, that I created this afternoon, and I've created a blog with two sections, one that puts the agenda on and one with this document on. If you download the document into My Files and open it, then you would be able to actually see what's been written and gradually scroll up and see what's there. I'm used to doing presentations with large multimedia screens around big auditoriums, and this is like going back to a workshop 30 years ago. I mean a machine shop 30 years ago.
Can we borrow that one for down here? Do you have any spare copies? Have you got spare copies?
I gave my only spare copy to the councillor, to Councillor Minto. If I give you my copy... Oh, hang on, I gave Brian Bond a copy this morning. Just for this.
I'll come down. That's all right.
So,
Do you need another copy?
I wouldn't even out of the woodwork, these copies.
That's,
I mean, if you've got
that's back to back as well on it.
fairly big phone, then it is easy enough to follow if you're able to download it and get an internet signal to do that. So the objectives of the meeting then are to brief Fleetwood residents on the planning proposal for the new Boston Hotel, as far as we know it. So basically, what's the background, what's going on? Then advise people on how best to object. I am not an expert in how best to object, but I think that we've got people in the room who will be able to help with that. I need help from the audience with research on information to support objections, and even if we get past this period when we've got to submit objections, there will have to be further work done to support any potential appeal that gets logged, and then give reassurance that many people are doing what we can to stop this change. So that's the basic proposal. Now, before I go into any of the meat of it, I'm a bit worried about being accused of being closed-minded, and we can't afford for the whole community to be accused of being closed-minded. And I've put in a couple of statements, three sentences, which might reflect what I think the public attitude is to rehabilitation. And I'll read out what I wrote, word for word. Large parts of the community support the idea of rehabilitation of ex-offenders and the rehabilitation of recovering drug addicts and alcoholics. Point 2. Most of the community think that the new Boston Hotel on Fleetwood Promenade is the wrong place to establish this type of support. And the third point is nobody in the community thinks it would be good for Fleetwood to increase the number of ex-offenders and ex-addicts living in the town. So those are basically the starting points. So, unless someone can come... I don't want to add any more detail to that and lose the impact, but I think we've basically got consensus to that. It's something that we can all read. Okay. The next part of the agenda is what's being proposed and something about what we don't know. Then going on to the status of the proposal, including a timeline of the process. And the third part of this section is a background to the proposal, including recognition of a total lack of consultation with the Town Council. So, those of you who've downloaded on the app, I'm on a page called What is being proposed. So, Well communities wish to change the status of the new Boston Hotel from hotel to residential institution. I think I'm using formal planning terminology there. They intend to provide 24/7 residential accommodation to recovering drug addicts, recovering alcoholics and newly released but otherwise undefined ex-offenders. And I say otherwise undefined ex-offenders because it is not stated. They say that they will house ex-offenders. They do not say what types of offenders those would be. And as far as tomorrow night's consultation meeting with Well Communities is concerned, one of the questions that I will show later in the meeting is to try and establish what that is. Okay, they have provided some information regarding their discipline policy, their approach to managing the institution and their treatment methodology, which is probably the best exercise in obfuscation that I've ever seen. That means clouding the bloody issue and coming up with... they have consulted the police, but according to the police report that was submitted back onto the planning portal, their consultation was only to establish the impact on, and I quote, care home residents from the local community. Their only interest was what is the impact on the residents of the new Boston Hotel from the local community. Not a thing requested to the police to give an idea about what the impact on the local community might be from housing those residents there. So apart from that, many of the people of Fleetwood have a great many unanswered questions, which makes it difficult to raise objections in an effective manner. Lots of what you're saying and all of the cries and outbursts I hear are really, they don't have substantive information behind them because very, very little substantive information has been provided. So to actually lodge legally binding objections or ones that have got a good legal basis, it makes it more difficult for us. It doesn't stop us, it just makes it more difficult. So the timeline and the status of the proposal. The application was submitted by Well Communities on the 29th of January. As far as I can determine, application was released to the public on the 16th of February. It might have been later than that. And I think that the first time that we became aware of it was when the likes of the Civic Society and residents received letters to say this is what's being proposed, and it landed on the mat. And as soon as that happened, then Councillor Martin informed Nosy Bazzers, and then it was then basically all hell let loose. Incidentally, is Jed Pickersgill in the audience, by the way? Jed Pickersgill is the name of the chap who's on some of the documentation as the manager of the proposed new Boston Hotel.
Charles,
yeah.
Jed Pickersgill, on his LinkedIn profile, he describes it's his job description as a senior business development manager for the Well.
Right, thank you.
You might want to think about that. The people that gave him his job see the Well as a business that they want to develop.
Sorry, that's me. The alarm just going off. Just go to silent. It's ring door.
Sorry, can we just come back to this
I
lady?
live along the road. And if I wasn't on the nosy bees, I would have known nothing about this. Nothing about what was going to happen to them. And I've got a young granddaughter that I worry about.
I mean, Nosy Bazzers has done a fantastic job, and I applaud. They do not have the Boston. They do not have the Boston.
Sorry, can we just come to the front first, Councillor Minto's, please?
Yeah, just a couple of parts. I think you've done a great presentation, and I really do. But this bit here, treatment, where is it? The undefined ex-offenders. If you remember, it's not that long ago when we had one of the Bulger offenders working in Fleetwood. We didn't know. Nobody let us know. That's, you know, this is the sort of thing we've got to contend with, and it's not good enough. The second bit is the input by the police. That was nothing short of rubbish, because the police know they haven't got the manpower to look after such a large establishment. You phone the police. The Bengal Lancers get there faster than the police. So this is, and that's not racial, that's just a gag. If anyone's going to be political correct on it. The fact of the matter is, we have got to write individually to object. If you go...
So can we, Councillor, can we, on the agenda, then we'll get to a bit about, we'll get to a section on objections, otherwise we won't get out of sync and then we'll be all over the place.
I think it's the gentleman at the back that wanted to make a point. I'm sorry, I can just about see him, he's very vocal, but I did see that your hand was up.
It's nothing about obviously the proposal, and obviously the gentleman has just said we'll have a chance about the objections in a minute. But obviously the objections that are being put forward are subjective, as in the sense that we're all emotionally attached to it. We don't want this, it's no good. We say it's going to lower house prices, that's no good. It has to be done in a certain format. Paul Maynard and the Fleetwood Conservatives are dead against this, which I'm sure later are as well. Okay, so but if you look on the Fleetwood Conservatives Facebook page, on there it tells you the guidelines, it gives you a couple of ideas and examples on how to actually object. Rather than saying it's going to lower house prices, we don't want that in our area. They are not valid reasons. Number one, we need to go along with traffic. Okay? All traffic that's going to happen with the Boston Hotel, of course with the refurbishment of it, and they eventually get that going. There'll be more staff, there'll be more residents' cars.
Can we come, when we get to item 3 on the agenda, which is about objections, can we bring you in on that point?
Because what we're hoping to do is raise exactly the set objections that everybody can clarify that they need then to place on their objection. Exactly, yeah. And not just exactly those points that you just made about house prices. But we're not totally clear, but we're hoping to become clear on what are the priorities for planning that they will listen to that will bring it as an objection.
Traffic and infrastructure, they're the instructions I've been asked to do.
I'm not trying to shut you down, but when we get to the bit about objections, brilliant. The Fleetwood Town Council meeting last week, the 27th of February, allowed the public to ask questions about public participation, but wasn't arranged, it wasn't on the agenda to discuss this, because the previous Town Council meeting had set the agenda before this planning permission had been released. We are now at a public meeting at the Boston Hotel, the 4th of March today. There is going to be a request for an extension to objections deadline lodged with Wire tomorrow, with the planning authority tomorrow. Is that the correct terminology?
Well, it's the planning policy group.
Planning policy group. So Councillor Rayner is going, I think 9:30 tomorrow meeting has got a 9:30 tomorrow morning has got a meeting with them
Where she'll make that request.
Where she'll make that
on your
request.
Behalf. Yeah.
But we cannot guarantee that that request will be successful, which is why we thought it was imperative to make sure we got our act together before the currently published deadline. Okay, there is a Wells Communities consultation meeting in this room tomorrow at 6 o'clock, which is an Eventim tickets only meeting. I do have a ticket and I will be making my voice heard. The current deadline for objectives, I actually think it might be Monday the 11th of March. I'm not totally clear. I've put down on this piece of paper that it's Friday the 8th of March because if you submit your objections over the weekend and we got the date wrong, so if somebody can advise us what is the absolute date for posting your objections. We're not sure.
Just have to look.
Why the rush?
Sorry?
I want to know why the rush.
Indeed.
No, normal planning not that quick.
Because, I mean, the reason for the rush basically is that there's a procedural thing with planning applications that there is 21 days from the publication of the application in which to form objections. After which, then, unless it is called in and there is a formal meeting of the planning committee, then it could just go through on the nod.
Yeah, it would be delegated to the various officers at the planning department at Wyre.
So what we expect.
Can I just say that for safety reasons, everybody should have it in by the 8th, because
I agree.
because of all the shenanigans that seem to have gone on with this. I wouldn't like to guarantee that if they open it up on Monday morning, it's going to count.
No. There seems to be the National Planning Framework, 75 pages of cure for insomnia, actually puts down some procedural things which in their own right are not grounds for an objection. However, they do encourage consultation on significant proposals. Anyway, I'll come on to that on the next part of the agenda.
Do you want us to take any notes at this point from anybody? Do you want to take anything at this point from anyone?
I assume you were taking. Sorry. Sorry, the 8th. So the advice is the key takeaway is that the planning, the objections need to be in by the 8th. Gentleman over there.
On your topic that you're dealing with now, when you're
Are you all right to stand up?
on your topic that you're dealing with now, there needs to be question marks about the extension, because 23rd, 29th of January, the statutory consultee only had it sent on the 9th of February. And we have 3 different dates, potentially, because the one that came to statutory consultee says the 13th of February. Sorry, the 13th of March. So you've got conflict in terms of what date is the deadline that they're putting out already.
What was your name, sir?
Ian Johnston.
Ian Johnston.
Well, there could be confusion there, because when they put the application in, they didn't put it in the name of the new Boston Hotel. They put it in on 41 to 43 the Esplanade.
Indeed.
And they were sneaking to do that.
Yes. So, if I come on to, again, this is background. We're very close to talking about the next page after this one is about objections. The whole topic is then about objections. So, just to try and tell a story about how we got here. Well Communities apparently do some work in Fleetwood. They seem to have consulted with representatives of drugs and alcohol rehabilitation providers to formulate their ideas, but they, to my knowledge, have not consulted with the wider community. Planning proposals issued to Wyre Borough on the 29th. To my knowledge, without any consultation prior to those documents going in. Representatives of the wider community were not consulted. Fleetwood Town Council were not consulted prior to the application, and have still not been formally consulted with by the planning process, as far as I can see. And the townsfolk were only informed after consultees, for instance, close neighbours and the civic society, were issued with notices, which I personally think that is a disgraceful.
Can I just hold you there for 1 second? So, for those of you that don't know, this is, I'll just let you sit down and get your head back. This is Cheryl Rayner, who's the chair of our Fleetwood Town Council, and she's going to thankfully take over the chair, you know. No, it's been all right.
Apologies for me for being late. I've had another meeting, so I've come straight from Wyre to here, and I think I've brought the land speed record on man. I swear, but don't tell anybody. Just a couple of things before I sit down. I've noticed a post on Facebook today saying that one of the things you can refuse this on is the traffic Can I just say, as someone, and please don't lynch me, I am on the planning committee at Wyre, and one of two Fleetwood councillors that are on the planning committee at Wyre. And if Lancashire County Council haven't made any objections to the highways bit of the planning application, that won't wash at planning. So that's a bit of false information that's been put out there. I'm sorry about that.
So that ties in quite nicely. We're close to coming on to the
I agree with
you. Cheryl, thank you.
So, yes, Charles.
Expanding on what's been said, I've watched lots of management meetings because we have this kind of problem in Walking. If you object on traffic for the number of people that are in there, they will just turn around and say you'll have more traffic if they all say people. So they'll just negate that. It's a waste of time trying to go on traffic.
Yeah.
I think we can see the common sense in what you said and in what Cheryl said. So, the basic framework, if you read the National Planning document, effective objections, and this is where we do need some advice, the proposal does not support published local planning policies. So I need advice, we need advice on which bit of the planning policies it does not support and how it doesn't support them. So we need to know what the planning policies are and what the mapping is to the objections that you all talk about, how those objections map to the planning policy, and the planning policy, if it's been done professionally, would then map back to the Department for Levelling Up, Housing and Communities National Planning Policy Framework.
Have we got somebody at the back?
Yeah. Just at the back there, we can hand up. Can you stand up when you're speaking, then we can see?
Sorry, 2 points I'd like to make. First one, Charles, was the neighbours weren't consulted at all. The only person that was consulted was the immediate next door. They were the only people that were told that, you know, they got a thing through the door. Nobody else was. That's the first thing. The second thing is, we can't say anything about traffic. Can we say anything about parking? Because even when the Boston was the Boston, if there was an event on, a funeral, anything like that, there was nowhere for residents to park. And so we knew that they were leaving eventually, but with these people, they're not going to be leaving. They're going to be staying there, and then all the staff and all those sorts of people, how many members of full-time staff are they going to need for, you know, to monitor 24 bedrooms?
I've got to be very careful what I say because, like I say, I'm on planning and I don't want to lose my right to vote on this application. So I can't say whether I agree with it or not because I want to be able to vote on the day. It's very dodgy ground trying to refuse an application on parking because they will just say it's a public highway, anybody can park there, there's no yellow lines, there's no restrictions, so there's no problem with parking on there.
Can you speak up, Charles, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Very important about
Sorry, can everybody just speak it down so we can listen to the gentleman talk, please? Thank you.
a very important part of a planning application is to put notices around where the application is regarding a planning application. Nothing's been done. I went again today and looked outside the Boston. There is no notice anywhere near the Boston to advise people that there is a planning application on it.
Right.
So that's pretty important.
Good point. So I think that's valuable information.
Yeah. Can I ask? I forgot what I was going to say. I was just going to say something else and it's gone.
Right. Can I just say, we've just stopped one in my ward in Thornton, in Stanner Ward, they wanted to buy a house and put naughty boys on an estate. Now it says here, multi-signature forms, they're no good. You've got to put in single forms. If you put in single forms to the planning department, they've got to answer every one. So that's what we did in Stanner, and we got it knocked back. Why? I don't know why the New Boston isn't trading at the moment. If you go past it, it's just very little light on, so are they thinking it's a done deal? This is what you've got to accept, but we're not going to accept it because we're going to fight this to the end. And I don't think that what you've got to look at, Fleetwood's Promenade is the absolute best promenade on the Proud Coast. There's nothing comes close to it. And we don't want a new business venture which is coming on the 1890 golf course, which is the biggest dog toilet in Fleetwood at the moment. So we're going to, that's going to be changed to a mini golf series. Now it's a national thing. They're going to be wanting hotel rooms. So that's right next to it. We don't want to lose Fleetwood's second biggest hotel because we've lost enough. And this is the master plan for Wyre Borough. It was written in 2011 and goes to 2031. And nothing in there states we were going to reduce the hotel rooms in Fleetwood. It's all the opposite. They want to keep them. Okay, thank you.
If anybody wants to have a look at that, it is available on Wyre's website. It's the local plan and it goes up to 2031. There has been a few adjustments made to it, which is done year on year, but it's more or less the same as it was when it was first agreed. Got a lady at the back with a hand up?
How many single objections did you need in your ward?
Oh right, sorry, about 2,700.
Yeah, you have to get it's on pro forma, it's not just getting people to do it. In order to help a lot of people, you get a lot of the elderly people who didn't have an understanding of how to do anything on a lap on a computer or anything. So we went around and we put all the information that we needed, like what we could object to, and then all we had to do was sign it. We actually went back around the whole page and collected them, but we also put envelopes with stamps on, so that they could post them if they wanted to, and then if they didn't want to post them, we go back and get them. And we just literally every single day went down to the council building and handed over our quad of objections. So quite well, we used to go in and just used to go, oh hi, you know, you just put them all down. So you just got to decide for yourselves or whether it would maybe take it in streets. We actually, what we did was looked at a map and said, right, we're going to do this section, we'll do this section, we'll do this section. And then we all did it and got it all, and it really did make a big difference.
Brilliant.
How long did you have to do that?
It was very rapid. We found it very late. It had been outrageous. It went under the radar because it was a certificate of lawfulness, which doesn't need any consultation. You don't need to let the neighbours know at all. So it was just by pure chance that one of our neighbours saw another planning application for that street and found out about it. So it was very, very quick, but it was like a community event. One of our neighbours has a vision where they could do the printing. So we got together, came up with the objections that were acceptable, put them down, pretty limited it to about 6 in which, and then printed it out, and then we were out the next day doing it, and then we were collecting the day after that, so it was very rapid.
So you had a standard form?
One standard form.
So you basically, as a team, as a team, you
together a team of us, we put a big team of us together, and we all got together.
and decided what the objections were, and then basically got everyone.
We did as much research as we could, find out which were the objections that would stand, put them on, and then we did a little brief introduction, and then another thing at the bottom, sort of conclusion.
Right.
Just a sign box, and each person signed it, wrote their name and address on it, and then we either took it in for them or they posted it. But we did have to do it very quickly.
I mean, it's very encouraging that you did that. I love the idea.
Yeah.
I love the idea. I'm sure we can organise to do something like that. We will have to do it very fast.
Well, just on that, can I also say there is no deadline for objections, because you can object right up to and after the agenda for the planning meeting being released, because you'll get the report then that will go online. If it goes to planning, a report will be put online, and then you can object to whatever's in that report as well. So nobody needs to panic. There is not a definite deadline where they're going to say, you've got to get your objections in by the 9th of March or whenever. After that, we're not going to read any, because they have to take your objections up to, and your objections on the day of the planning meeting. So there isn't a deadline.
On the seafront and the tourist industry. The example that you gave is a really good.
Probably our best way of using it.
It's a really good way.
Business that requires that you cater towards vulnerable people. People from various areas of vulnerability come from various areas who are vulnerable come to us, and that is one of the best ways we're going to combat this, is by talking about economic impact. More than health and safety of the community, they've housing and economics as their two biggest focuses. Those are literally the first two areas on the Wire local plan. So they're the first two things you consider when you're going down the list. So yes, we do need to talk about the impact on the local community in terms of mental health, just general safety for people, because kids go on the golf course, and like you said, anyone can be on the beach. So while those are of concerns and they definitely need to be raised, we also need to tie that into the grander point of how it impacts the economics in Fleetwood as a whole, how it will bring the further deprivation down. Now the lady in the red over there brought up deprivation very slightly, but it's already a topic of discussion for us as a council, because Fairhouse Ward is, in Wire, one of the highest deprived areas across the board, even across the UK. We are one of the worst hit economically. So if we then bring up saying economics is going to be impacted even further, we have such a stronger argument. But thank you very much.
Just for statistics wise, so every single ward in this town is in the top 10% most deprived in the entire country.
Yes.
So
can I just to add to that, I had a meeting with the police a few weeks ago, and it's actually the figures that the lady gave for people that are in employment is actually worse than that now. It's 2/3 of working age people in the town are not working. That is massive.
So what gets me is that these people that are going to be accommodated in this building, we won't know who they are. They can come and go as they please. They can be walking past you in the market. They can walk past you in London Street. Anywhere, they can walk past you. They need employment. They're not going to get employment in Fleetwood. So they'll walk around at Fleetwood and they'll become a statistic, like the police have put out 815 antisocial behaviour reports. It'll just be the same. We are Fleetwood people, and we are not going to be walked over.
Sorry, do you want to speak again? Yeah. Sorry, can everyone just, I know it's quite emotive, but can we just listen?
This is the promise that Wyburn Council, which includes all your councillors, to the people. This lady's going to be the mouthpiece now. It says below it's an extract.
Sorry, could you stand up? Thank you.
Below it's an extract from the Fleetwood Council.
Whatever.
Would you like me to read it? Would you like me to read it? So this bit, we've been there. Yeah, okay. crime and antisocial behaviour, improve our leisure facilities, ensuring they meet the needs of our residents and visitors' support, and champion Wyre's growing tourism economy offer, tourism businesses, attractions and events by promoting our coast to countryside. Build trust in the council by engaging with our customers and delivering on our promises. Please consider these promises when considering these valid and legitimate objections.
So where was that from?
Where was that? A Wyre promise.
That is the Wyre promise. If you put that into Wyre website,
No.
it should come up.
Have you got that?
I don't know me.
Right, we need that.
Could we have that document so we've got it to, as a point of reference?
That's probably my objection to that.
Yes.
I'd like to know how they can propose a recast for alcohol right next to a pub, and also when they were their proposal, they stated that the Mount was a Mount Hotel.
Yes.
Not a Mount pub.
Because the Mount is listed as a hotel. It is, yes. But as
Sorry,
far
can
as
everyone keep it down and let this lady
as far as
talk, please?
primary
We're struggling
use
to hear.
goes, it is listed as a hotel. A hotel might provide alcohol, and we as residents know the Mount pub is the main feature of the Mount. But as far as they're concerned as a business, and as far as they've told Wyre, they're a hotel. From just a point,
Quiet, please.
that would be on the Mount. That's worded wrong, because they worded themselves as a hotel, not New Boston saying, oh, we've been told that the Mount's a hotel.
Proposal in, they needed to say that that Mount was a pub, so therefore it's a temptation for that.
The problem is they don't, because it's listed legally as a hotel. Yes, yeah, that's
Problem
what
is,
they
all
use.
pubs are listed as hotels.
Yeah.
At the Mount, and everybody knows that they're private apartments that have nothing to do with Green Hill or the Mount pub.
And that's a legal loophole they've used to get around.
And
It's not great.
equally, it's not their first application
Yes.
for large buildings and large. It's not their first. They've got other large establishments elsewhere in the northwest.
That's what they're proposing, to rehabilitate their...
We
No,
know
we
it's next
absolutely
to a pub.
valid- yeah,
Realistically,
absolutely.
logically, we know it's next to a pub, which just makes no sense. As far as they're talking to get around it is, oh, it's only a hotel.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's listed as a hotel. Because it's a private organisation, it would be on the owner to change. They'd apply for a change of usage, which is what's happening now. So they're changing the Boston from a hotel to residence housing. So they would have had to apply to Wyre, and Wyre would have had to approve that. So I know that they would have had to do this. That's what I'm saying.
Please have it one at a time.
So I think the point there that's being made very well is that the Mount Hotel may well have themselves have listed themselves as the Mount Hotel, and so they've been able to use that as a loophole.
Can I make a suggestion, please? Going round in circles.
Yeah,
and circles.
exactly. Yeah.
There's been a lot of good points made.
Yeah.
We're going round in circles. All these good people have come here to try and get the point across and try and listen to what you're bringing to us. But I'm afraid you're getting nowhere. You're going round and round and round. My suggestion would be, all these good people have taken the time to come here, so let's work a plan out where they can all come back, where we've got a form, where we can all sign it, and we can all send them in, rather than sitting here going on and on and on about, I don't like this and I don't like that.
Can I just say, you've seen Karen and Charles talking to each other here. That is actually what they've been talking about doing.
The agenda was the plan going forward, but if we'd not given you the opportunity to talk about all the things that are worrying you, you'd have said that we weren't listening to you. I think there's been some fantastic points raised, loads of emotion, some really, really good, useful stuff, but we do have to we do have to get a plan for moving forward.
I've got you, William, I've seen you. Go on.
Right. The great point here is that we have a collection of young and vulnerable adults meeting in the skate park, which is not 150 yards from that. And they meet there regularly in the evening to skate in the skate park on the corner. And can I just say that the point there, the amount of town's not a listed building.
It is how I'm not certain how they take it because.
So what you're reading up there is a safeguarding issue.
Yes.
What you're reading up there is a safeguarding issue.
Yeah, we obviously want to protect our children.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Reese's point was very similar about a safeguarding issue, about safeguarding our vulnerable who are close by. But Charles and I, if I can just pass you back to Charles, that was our plan.
I just want to check with Karen what commitment. What I would like to say our commitment is that by end of play tomorrow, we will have documented a pro forma with the objections on that we can then get round the town and get people to sign on to. That does not preclude you from putting on your own additional stuff on the bottom that isn't on there. But if Karen, Harry, myself,
and two residents, that lovely lady in red at the back.
I mean, the lady in red at the back, if you can't join us, at least send us your information. I need the point that the gentleman made about people coming to the seafront from out of town. I'm just wondering is there anybody that has got the time that they can be available tomorrow while we piece this together that would like to do it?
Gentleman at the back there. Pardon? Yeah? Are we making a go?
Yeah, we can meet at...
I'm at Russell in the morning, but I can do the rest of the day. I should be definitely free.
It's half 3 in the morning. Because we also want to take into account what they're going to say. Charles.
Yeah.
Charles.
Okay, the town... The town council will print off the forms that we agree. Karen suggested that we meet at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm a bit worried that if the Well Communities meeting is at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, that only gives us...
Well, I can meet you at 9. It's just like Harry.
I can do earlier in the day, it's just the morning I can't do.
So Karen and I will sit down and actually flesh something out at 9 o'clock so we get the backbone. Harry will...
If you're still going on at the time, just let me know, I'll be there.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So I'll let you know where to come, and I need the name.
And would it be possible for us to have the recording of tonight so that we can refer to that throughout the course, because you can imagine there's been a lot of points raised tonight and we do not want to miss them.
When this pro forma is sorted out on this template, can we put it on the website and then we can download it from there?
Yes.
Websites is we found there were so many elderly people, and as soon as you say go online, look at the website, they start showing.
Sorry, can I? I've got a solution for this. So our chairman, Councillor Rayner, and I, we've just said that we will print the forms off at the Town Council office. We can get them all filled in, and then what we will do is so they're not getting lost in the mail, we will personally transport them to whatever account.
Well,
so
I would suggest you see if you can organise a team to go around the house there. That's what we do.
So what might be really good then is to have some volunteers who would go and do that.
Right, so
names at the end.
Can we collect your names at the end?
Names at the end for volunteers.
Anybody who's willing to volunteer their services, if you could come and line up at the end, we'll get your names and your contact details and we will be in touch tomorrow. Is that okay? Excellent.
Sorry, please,
Keep your main points, a gap for anybody to carry on filling in, that you've got to do it individually. Otherwise it won't go. Petitions don't get
Sorry, can we just come to this lady in the front?
Yes.
All it's done is Friday today.
Don't worry.
I'm nearly 80 now, and I don't like going out at night.
No.
But I used to do it in Fleetwood.
Yeah.
I used to go out on my own all the time because my husband was disabled, and it was the only bit of freedom I got. But now, even now, you haven't even opened that place yet and got them moved in.
No,
I don't like going out at night. I've got to have to walk around the car park to get in my car. That's the only way I will go. But it frightened me, this. All this chat, but it gets nowhere in the end. I mean, didn't you used to have a blind home down the road there on the front?
Yeah, that's now a huge.
And they wanted to do that there, didn't they? They got petitions up.
Well, they've built a huge care home there now. That's
yeah, it's different, but
yeah.
didn't it not open for this particular reason at the end? No, well, it did nothing for them, you know.
And one of the indicators.
It just seems.
No,
you're just trying to satisfy us in listening to us, and then it will happen anyway.
No, we definitely don't.
Well, that's definitely not going to happen.
We want residents' concerns.
What I'm seeing now, you know, nothing is said to really clarify what you're going to do.
We're currently making a list of objections so that we can formulate a response. When we've got that response, there's going to be a planning day at Wire where we will list these objections. At that planning day, they will then either accept the proposal or reject it, and then it's out of our
round and round and round and then tucked under the carpet.
Fear of crime.
Will not be.
Fear of crime is one of.
That's what we see though sometimes, you know.
It's hard.
Flogging a dead horse.
Can we just say the town council has no responsibility?
No, I know this.
Where is concerned?
I know.
We're losing it.
So I just want to reassure everybody that we are here tonight with a commitment to help get the best for the residents to be able to make all the objections that planning will listen to and really can't ignore. That is our intention of being here tonight. So I fully appreciate that you're feeling really upset and really because fear is absolutely the way that people start to feel when they're worried about something, which leads to anxiety. And so I absolutely hear what you're saying and acknowledge that. And what we want to do is to be able to really consolidate a really good argument that will make them so they can't ignore what we're saying. So I just really want to reassure you that that is what we're here to do, and that is our commitment as a town council.
One of the things that we will be saying is that fear of crime from the local community, an increase in fear of crime, will be one. It's irrespective of what it needs. A planning decision has to take account of fear of crime. That's in the national policy document, and it's also reflected, worded slightly differently, in the local document. Fear of crime is a very important criteria. Even if it's irrational, if you are scared of an increase in crime, then that is a.
So if we can just still. I know it's hard to keep it all together. We've been here quite a while. I'm not sure what time it is. We've been going for an hour and a half now. This lady at the front here just wants to speak. So if we can just
I just want to say we've all worked hard as a community to improve our health and well-being, setting up the groups and what have you. It's improved people's mental health.
Yes.
And now this is
I've got you, Ian.
that obviously people are all upset.
Yeah.
So let's hopefully keep the community going.
Hard to get all these groups together and things.
Yeah.
The thing is, this large outing is a very, it's an important tool, because Wire can easily ignore individual voices, but when it's like so many of them, the sheer number helps back up the case. So it's amazing just to see so many faces of concern out here now. We understand everyone is upset about this issue, but we can use that to try and resolve it.
And it is important that you put your objections on as well. It's all very well having a pro forma,
But make sure that if you can, go on that website and put your objections in.
Separately as well.
Separately, everybody gets members you have. Things that aren't valid, we'll just discount anyway. But the points that need to be on there, because that's what you need to get that out there as soon as possible.
Yes.
So everyone knows all the main points, and then they can put them all on. Things that you're worried about, put them on anyway. Tonight is kind of you don't know.
By the end of play tomorrow, we will have those objections written, and we'll publish them on that website that's named on the agenda, www.wrongplace.co.uk, but we'll also get the paper ones out as well.
Ian, so yeah, Ian, do you want to?
Yeah, I didn't get the following point. To make progress tonight, people who've got objections that have already been voiced, just bear with us. Anybody with some valid point that hasn't been raised, if you could go around and just get their points, as against duplicating what's already been voiced.
They need to singularly put them in. It's no good doing a mass one. They've all got to be
very quickly.
So it's a really good point that you've made. It's a really good point that you've made there, Ian. So what we're asking for is if anybody in the room has got a valid point that's not already been raised and not already been brought up, and you feel that you really need to share that with us, could we ask you to make it quite succinctly, just so that we can listen to what that is, and we'll start to take the first ones. That gentleman there, I think you stood up first.
What was mentioned right at the beginning, people said we've got security and disciplinary procedures for these people, so like a well-behaving policy. What happens if they don't well-behave? Where do they go? Are they going to vote them out and they'll let walk in the streets?
I believe that will be done.
I
believe that's down to Wells, but that's an amazing question that we will bring up to them.
Have you got a ticket for tomorrow's meeting?
Yeah, that's a question we need to give to Wells.
So we will. So if you leave us your question, for anybody tonight that's not able to go to tomorrow's meeting, they've got we'll try and ask your questions on your behalf. So if you want to give us your name and leave that with us.
That objection is one of my wife's main objections, by the way. So there's at least two of you saying that.
Yeah. Sorry, the gentleman here with the beard. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Stand up.
What those just said behind me here, these guys, or whoever they are going to be there, will be free people to walk around the town and do as they like. But we know we've got an undercurrent here of crime. We've got our drug dealers all around here. Yeah. They're going to interact with them because they're all going to be wandering around, sat on the mountain, sitting on benches and stuff. What's that going to do for them? Are they going to have the power to say, right, you bugger off, I don't want anything to do with you, I'm going to go clean? I think a lot of them are going to get dragged in and sucked in and most of them don't even come from here to start with, even lumbered with them in the first place. As I've said many times on the website and stuff like that, with the dumping ground, we see it every single day. We walk around out here. I see elderly people scared to death on the pump. How many times have people been? There's a lady kicked once here 2 weeks ago on the pump.
It's a great point to tie in to the deprivation when we're talking about that, as well as safety in the community. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. I think there was somebody behind you. There's somebody waving a thing at the back there, and then they put it back down. Sorry.
And that's smattering of hands.
Please have a moment of time.
How many tickets were actually given?
I believe 100. I believe around 100.
Alright, is there anybody else with any more points that have not already been raised? Go on.
In all my searches, valid points to object, the one that came up most was the effect on the character of the area involved.
Yes.
And the size of the development in that how it affects the character. That was the point that came up more than anything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
How it affects the character. The character of this service, it's a holiday resort.
Yep.
It's not a rehabilitation.
Excellent, thank you very much. Please, there's a lady over there.
I'd like to say, at the Boston, there is no room at the back for any of these people to go. There's no recreational area. The only place they have are the rooms inside the Boston or on the front of the promenade. So if they want to go out and smoke, it could be 20 odd of them. God knows how many will smoke, but they can all be out there. It would be very off-putting for anybody going past.
And people are all sat out there in the summer having a lovely drink, and next door to them you've got all these people that are struggling with addiction and things, and then coming outside to have a drink or whatever and hanging around and loitering. I mean, it's just a disaster waiting to happen.
You couldn't make it work.
Well, what I would like to see at the next meeting is a police presence. We can ask Inspector Wyatt to come. Wyatt's in charge of the Fleetwood subdivision. Now he will tell you if an incident kicked off with 24 people, is that 48? 24 rooms, is that 48 people? We wouldn't have the manpower to look after that. So we need police to come and talk to us about it, because I've said it before, if you ring up for the police, waiting and waiting for them to come. And of all those ASBOs and everything, and the thefts and everything, how many of those were crimes that the police closed down?
So can I just come in on that point, that actually, I have already spoken, we were at a meeting last week and I have already spoken to the police about attending this meeting this evening, but what they felt was at the time was that it might restrict what people stay due to their presence, due to the people being allowed to hold a public meeting. But I can invite them to the next meeting.
We need a senior officer.
Yeah, but we will invite them to the next meeting because...
That's all.
No, that's not our meeting.
It's not our meeting. It's not our meeting tomorrow night. But they. Pardon?
When's next meeting?
There's one tomorrow. I don't know about that.
So the thing is that there are restrictions on if police are present, it does restrict people's capacity to speak. And, you know, because we are, if they're present, it compromises your freedom of speech. So, and it hasn't tonight, and I don't think it will at a future meeting, and you've all spoken tonight, so we will invite them to the next meeting, but I'm not quite sure when that will be as yet.
Thank you for your patience.
I think there's a lady right at the very back.
This lady in the front's been waiting forever. She's waving her hand at me. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Could everybody please
I'm afraid I
quiet?
can't hear, yes.
Right. The potential of losing the Boston Hotel for accommodation as regards entertainment in the town. We have international dance festival taking place in William Hall. There's other international coming to the town.
Yes.
We need accommodation.
Yes.
If we can't provide that, they're going to go elsewhere. We're losing that remuneration from them. Then the fact that like pantomimes, you know, comes up out of town. So we need.
Yeah, we still need hotels in Fleetwood, don't we?
Need more hotels.
Thank you very much for that.
Is that fine? This lady here, is that email?
No, it was.
Yeah. The lady at the back.
Yeah, can I just ask, can we ask people to understand that how do you arrange the distribution of the portfolios? I.e., you know, we're going to have to have people in all different areas, aren't we, so we know everywhere's being covered.
Yeah, anybody that's put their hand up here tonight, if you take a list of your names and contact numbers, and then we can all try and arrange, because that's what we do, we met in a house, actually, we still did it, and we met, and then we just, between us, gave streets, and tick sheets, and we ticked off every number we put through there, put a little note next to the saying we'll go back,
one more point that hasn't been raised yet. Sorry,
Point not raised.
it's not already
Lady
been
right at
raised.
the back, should say. She's not spoken yet.
Ron's had his hand up a few times. Children, and I live very local. And our place to go is down the prom. There's nothing else for children in Fleetwood bar the prom, so we use it all the time. And I was just wondering if this place is actually going to be manned 24 hours a day. So people can come and go, whether they're drinking, taking drugs, sex offenders, come and go as they want, and be in this area whenever they want. Can they have, like, visitors? Because I feel quite intimidated with 2 young children walking down this promenade, which is the only thing we've got in Fleetwood, again, kids, and it's a bit swarmed with loads of people. Like, there's nothing clear to us. Can they come and go? Can they have visitors? Can people stay there overnight?
We have
If it goes ahead, will we be informed if sex offenders are in there? No, we live around the corner.
Currently, we have very little information from Wales itself about how it's going to be run. That's what tomorrow's meeting's for. It will be brought up
And that
there.
question
Thank
will
you.
be asked tomorrow night if you're not at the meeting. Are you there
Yeah.
tomorrow night?
Yeah,
So we will
someone
ask that
will-
question on your behalf tomorrow evening.
Thank you.
We've got 2 pages of questions for you, and we've got that
I think we've just got time for one more because I think we've been here quite a long time. It's almost 49. I think we've got time for one more. The lady at the back. Yeah, what did you just ask? Sorry. Will Cat Smith come to the next meeting?
We can ask.
We can ask the question. We'll certainly ask the question.
He's had his hand up about 10 times.
Okay, we've got one more and then that is it, I'm afraid.
There is one point that I wanted to bring up. I've read through some of the Wells company, what they're wanting to do, so they put it into the planning committee. And that out of 700, there was 3 that were caught with antisocial behaviour. That's the only figure that I've heard Wells mention. Now, if you're a successful company and you've got everything on the internet that you're saying, oh, this company's brilliant, this is it, wouldn't you want to tell the people of Fleetwood how many you have successfully rehabilitated into the community? But they will not. They have no So, for the question for one of them tomorrow night is, how many have been rehabilitated into the community?
Have you not got a ticket?
Have you not got a ticket?
Not like you not got a ticket.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to
I think we're going to have to leave it there. Can I just also assure you that I've also read that they are. I've also read that the company increased it for the better public health outcomes in the towns in which they're based, and I'm struggling to see how the public health outcomes will be increased in an already disadvantaged area, which is the question I will be posing tomorrow night equally. So rest assured, this lady here, we are working really hard, and we want to be a true representation of our town and the valid points that you are all making. So I would ask that any of you are willing, got questions, and we haven't got any paper here actually. I've got paper. Have you got, if you could come down to the front, if you've got any questions that we haven't asked, we can probably be here. I think we've got the room for another 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
15 minutes, we've got 15
Will you
minutes.
come tomorrow night if I give you a ticket? No. I got 2 tickets and I was waiting to see who was the most passionate, articulate.
All right.
And what you just said there was the challenge to Wells that was very, very clear. And if you would actually put that question to them, because they'll just get bored of my voice, but if you stand up and with that passion and that very, very clear articulation, that would be helpful.
Yes.
So thank you so much everybody for coming, and we're overwhelmed really, but we really want to reassure you we are.
Everyone who said they're willing to volunteer to help out, could you just please come up and make a line over here, please?
My question is what about the vulnerable people that visit the area? I'm proud to say myself, I'm behind Fleetwood Beach wheelchairs, and we have many care homes throughout Lancashire that come to visit us. We've got vulnerable people from Lancashire County Council that come to visit us. Where's their protection during the day when, you know, these people can be out wandering around? Or are we have the police contacted these care homes and said, oh, just in case you come to the area, just to let you know? Or is it down to us as an organisation when we've got a group of vulnerable adults and vulnerable children coming and saying, oh, just so you know, across the road we've got this, and this is what these are the people that may be there. How is that going to help us we bring people in from all over the country that have never been to Fleetwood before, and they come and they go, we've had a fantastic time, we're going to come back. Are they going to come back if this rehab unit is allowed to go ahead? The reality is no, they're not. They are going to bring Fleetwood down, and for us as a small independent business, it is going to have a big impact. We're reliant upon tourism and people coming to Fleetwood. This is not going to help us.